The formation of youth is one of the most important tasks of the community. The children are our future. What we bestow upon them today, they will return to the world tomorrow. The schools play an important role in the great work of creating the new man. Education should awaken the higher potential which lies dormant within us. Should we not free at least our children from the wheel of ignorance and suffering to which today's humanity is bound? Education has a great importance. It is nourishment with everything lofty and refined. Our greatest hope to create the new world naturally rests upon the young, who have not yet been distorted by outdated habits. Let us make sure that the new generation lives according to the 10 pillars of the practice of Agni Yoga. Defense of the higher consciousness, rhythm of the day, and nourishment according to spiritual principles. Obedience, living in two worlds, and selflessness. Communion with the higher world, service to the common good, and spiritual exercises for self-perfection. Then the new world will emerge quite naturally by itself. The education of immortals requires a completely new concept. Its starting point must be the twofold, physical and spiritual nature of man. The one-sided promotion of purely intellectual skills is not sufficient for the new age. Our children have to be comprehensively formed. Body, soul and spirit, heart and intellect, skills and character. Such a vision is clearly lacking in today's schools. They have no idea of the image, of the ideal according to which they wish to shape the young. Our goal of education is purity, wisdom, and power. We are raising healthy, beautiful, great and strong souls, future hierarchs. The schools have, of course, first of all to convey knowledge. This includes higher knowledge. They have to teach the laws of cosmos, evolution and hierarchy, the spiritual foundations of our existence, karma and reincarnation, but also the path and the goal, the mission and the responsibility of man. From the earliest school years, it is necessary to lay firm, practical foundations. Only thus can be found a living way to living successes. Verily, there should be more schools in which people are taught the meaning of life. The school of the future will strive to refine the feeling of the heart of the pupils, without which higher knowledge can neither be conveyed nor received. It serves the purpose of the formation of the heart, namely the expansion of consciousness and the development of sensitivity and straight knowledge. It will train the communion with the higher spheres. It will teach a pure, clear thinking directed by the heart. It is a gigantic task to develop curricula and, above all, practical exercises for this purpose. It is crucial that the children not only learn the theory, but also how they can apply their knowledge in practice and use it in everyday life. The education centers of the New World will not only convey knowledge, but also implement cognition in practice. They will teach the youth respect for work, quality, and self-perfection. It is impossible to convey the facts convincingly without practical exercises. Only the ignorant would think that a simple reciting of information imparts it to the student. Theoretical lessons in the morning and collective practical labor at the great work in the afternoon. That is the concept of the school of the future. The heart of a child recognizes what is aflame and what is extinguished, not the given lesson, but the mutual aspiration of teacher and pupil reveals the world of wonders. To open the eyes of a pupil means to share with him the love of great creation. The schools serve the renewal and transformation of our existence, the spreading of a healthy way of life that corresponds to our higher self. They must awaken the fire of enthusiasm for the spiritual path and for the higher possibilities of man. When the family does not know how, let the school teach cleanliness in all ways of life. Dirt comes not from poverty, but from ignorance. Cleanliness in life is the gateway to purity of the heart. Who then is unwilling that people be pure? One should equip schools in such a way that they will be hotbeds for the adornment of life. We must not allow the educational establishments to become hotbeds of disobedience, lack of discipline, irresponsibility, immorality, and egotism. Shield children from everything false. Guard them against worthless music. Protect them from obscenity. Protect them from false competitions. Protect them from affirmation of selfhood. The more so, since it is necessary to inculcate a love for incessant learning. Already the young should practice the higher culture of immortals. In most schools, the foundations of a sound life are not taught. We want our children to live a life of beauty and joy, in harmony with their higher nature. Where is the school that can teach people joy? It is most important that the school teaches our children community, theoretically and practically. That means, for example, to train them to administer property in trust for the community. What a mistake to think that one must give a child its own things. A child can easily understand that things may be held in common. The children can learn that a task, both a mathematical problem and a riddle that life presents, can best be solved in common. They will easily understand that it is of no use when some individuals advance and the rest of the class stays behind. The community as a whole must learn and make progress. The faster pupils can assist the slower ones, often better than the teachers. The time of the lonesome warrior who only thinks of himself is over. One of the most important tasks of the schools is to show the young people living examples of worthy lives. Recognizing a greater spirit as a teacher and imitating him will give the pupils the strongest and most natural impulse to climb a higher level. Let us make sure that our children no longer emulate pop stars or soccer players, but the great saints. Adults often fail to resound to the concept of heroism, but children are fond of popular heroes. They are enraptured by heroic deeds, and they dream of seeing themselves among the champions of truth. It is inadmissible to deprive children of this living source of inspiration, which will remain a luminous glow throughout their lives. A beautiful heroic deed can illumine a young heart forever. The schools must educate those who are suited to heroism in the succession of the great spiritual fighters of mankind. Don't forget the true wealth of a people are the high consciousnesses whom it counts among its members. One Gandhai raises an entire nation of hundreds of millions of people. If a school succeeds in producing such a hero, it has rendered humanity an invaluable service. These great tasks can only be accomplished by spiritually high-standing teachers. We do not seek intellectuals, but spiritual leaders of the pupils entrusted to them. The teacher will be a guiding tutor, a friend who points out a shorter and better path. Not the process of compulsion, but the smile of summons. The teacher is the one who gives the best advice for life. A teacher must walk himself on the spiritual path with enthusiasm. Otherwise, he will not be able to stimulate imitation. The teacher himself must be aglow, so that just approaching him already imparts fieriness. Let us see to it that we gain the best spirits for the education of our children. The master of the order does not consider teaching youth himself unworthy of him. If we belittle the importance of the teachers and neglect the schools, we are wasting our future. Shamed be the land where teachers dwell in poverty and want. Shamed be those who know that their children are being taught by a man in want. Can one entrust children to a depressed man? Can one rest ignorant of the fact that a depressed spirit cannot inspire enthusiasm? Can one regard teaching as an insignificant profession? Can one expect an enlightened spirit in children if the school is a place of humiliation and affront? Can one expect the fires of the heart when the spirit is silent? The nation that has forgotten its teachers has forgotten its future. Let us make sure that the teacher be the most valued member of the country's institutions. A people will do well to meet its teachers with respect and to enable them to lead a worthy life dedicated to cognition and education. In all countries, teachers should be the educators of the people.